There are times when we don't want to be here. This place, this time, this plane of consciousness, existence, we want to go elsewhere. Where or what elsewhere is, how we get there, that is what we're going to be talking about today on the Videocast. We'll be covering quite a few different ideas and topics, from disassociation to liminality and liminal space, what these are, what the difference is, and how nostalgia factors into all of it. As always, I am your host Brian. Patreon.com/PixandPortraits makes these videos possible. None of this happens without the generous support of our patrons. In exchange, they get access to dozens of exclusive videos. If you are into liminal space, Liminal Dreams is over there. You can also get access to my book, The Nostalgia Economy, in both ebook and audiobook formats. Physical copies are now available as well. So if you like what we do and want to make it happen, get some exclusive content, please consider supporting us. Now, bit of a warning off the top, we are going to be talking about things that are related to mental illness. This is entertainment. I am not advocating or recommending you apply any of this to yourself. Maybe an overly cautious warning, but you do need to be careful how deep into the void you go. Let's kick things off with liminal space. Over the last decade, this aesthetic or idea has really taken off. It was popularized by the meme The Backrooms, which is quickly growing into a franchise at this point. It's really difficult to define what exactly liminal space is because a lot of what informs it is subjective. All over the internet, you can see posts of empty rooms with some kind of provocative line like "woke up here" or "how did I get here?" or asking, "is this liminal?" Most of the time, if you have to ask, it probably isn't. There are so many pictures where it really is just an empty room. Yes, it's subjective, but there are certain qualities that make something feel more liminal. Lighting, lots of shadows, the absence of people, especially in places where people should be, airports, malls, which people have a nostalgic connection with. Nostalgia is big, more on that in a bit. Even the quality of the image, that's something we talk about a lot here, aesthetics and how we associate them with different times, feelings, places. All of these things contribute to making something feel liminal. But what does that mean? The most straightforward definition is comforting discomfort, something we feel both close and distant from, this eerily familiar feeling. I generally find these stringent rules on what liminal space is to be restricting, especially the no people part. Seeing places that are usually packed with people does produce that eerie feeling, but it's far from the only thing. Liminal, liminality, the state of being between, transitioning, crossing over. It's complex. Though it has been contextualized more recently, it is not a new idea. There's a great episode of The Twilight Zone. Lots of great episodes. The premise of the series is basically built on liminality, but my favorite episode is Walking Distance, and it really highlights what I think is interesting about the idea. This tired, depressed, overworked person goes back to his childhood town, the town where he grew up, and he finds he has actually traveled back in time to his childhood. He visits all his old haunts, runs into his family. He's home. It's where he wants to be, where he's escaped to because the weight of the world has him down, but it doesn't feel good. It's weird because he shouldn't be there. He already had his time, and now it's his younger self's turn. Great episode. Nostalgia plays a huge part in what we're talking about, because a lot of the people contextualizing liminal space were born or young in the 1980s through the early 2000s. Much of the content or aesthetics are rooted in those times. Like I said earlier, malls. Content on dead malls was hugely popular during the same time liminal space was becoming more and more known. A place remembered warmly that used to be teeming with people, now empty, abandoned. Stores, brands associated with the past, better times, left to decay. Nostalgic, sad, familiar, distant, comfortably uncomfortable. While a lot of liminal content is rooted in the relatively recent past, examples can be found in centuries-old art, early photography. The first photograph, the Nips heliograph from 1827, is extremely liminal, a view out of a window into worlds of possibilities, a new frontier. Same with early CGI, or even retrofuturism. The future and the past together creates that dissonance, an otherness outside of our understanding of time or reality. We are all capable of creating or tapping into this otherness. We subjectively construct memories, mentally manufacture these spaces. But how do we get there? Chemicals, drugs can put you in an altered state, a detachment from yourself or reality. Dreams, our other channel, is all about this, navigating the spaces our subconscious comes up with. We also disassociate. Now, this is where you need to be careful. This is something we all do. It is not necessarily an intense thing. There are levels to disassociating. Everyone daydreams, drifts away at work to someplace more exciting, a memory or an imagined fantasy. That's probably the most common out of boredom. Pretty harmless. On the more serious side, it can be a coping mechanism, a response, detaching from something, distancing yourself emotionally for protection, intentionally or consciously or not. This can be due to personal trauma, depression, or a reaction to what is happening in the world. Things are awful, things fall apart. Why not take a step away? Unplug, take a break from reality and spend some time somewhere else. Well, for one, it's not always easy to come back. It is not simply a switch that can be turned on or off. Depending on how much you pulled away, easing yourself back into normalcy can take a lot of effort. There are also more severe dissociative disorders that can develop. You can spend so much time away that the reality you return to changes. A lot of this sounds negative or bad, and it absolutely can be, but it can feel pretty good as well. It's a form of escapism, which is healthy, necessary even, given how much information we process day in and day out. I say this all the time, people want to go back because that is where they are happy. Our memories and past inform so much of the space we retreat to, and the time we are living in gives us no shortage of reasons for disassociating. We all do it in our own way, in different levels of intensity, and for different reasons. I can't tell you how to disassociate. However, I have put a lot of work into curating media that helps facilitate disassociation. This week marks 7 years of content creation for me here on YouTube. This channel is relatively new, but we've been at this for a while. This experience has exceeded my wildest expectations. If this is the first video you've watched, or if you've been here since the beginning, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thanks for making memories. Support us if you can. Subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. But you've already done the most helpful thing, and that's watch. So thank you for that. Thank you for 7 years. Here's to the future. Thanks, everybody.